Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review. And previously I did a review for what I consider to be the worst Christmas movie ever, which is It's a Wonderful Life. And no one gets a flag for that review, but it is my opinion, it is my review show. Excuse me for that. So now I wanted to do what I feel is a very close second worst Christmas film of all time, which is of course the 1990 movie Home Alone, starring Macaulay Culkin and Catherine O'Hara, John Reed, Joe Pesci, and Daniel Stern. This movie is the absolute worst, if not the worst movie I've ever seen. If you had to make a list of the top 10 worst movies I've ever seen, there'd be at least in the top 5, because that's how bad this movie is. This movie, of course, those of you who don't know the story, this is the movie in Macaulay Culkin's career. The only real decent movie role he ever had, except maybe possibly in Uncle Buck, which is his first movie role, because the role he did in that film got him this movie. And of course, then this movie got Mind Girl, which he died, which I did a review on. He died in the end, which is the only role they actually liked him in because he dies. But Home Alone is the movie where it's about him, Macaulay Culkin's character, accidentally being, or quote unquote, accidentally being left home alone during Christmas. Of course, you don't know what happened. What happened was, I'm going to do a lot of spoilers here. What happened was that his family was going to go away for Christmas week, and everybody abuses Kevin. Kevin's like the youngest one in the family, treating him like a baby, which he was then, and when he is now, a big baby. And what happened was that he has cousins over, aunts, uncles, whatever, and his brothers and sisters are all abuse him, they will pick on him and everything else. And they all like, wish we dad have to take this brat and all that type of stuff. And sure enough, the night before they go away on this vacation, to the airport, they had like a blackout in the neighborhood, or at least a power failure in the house. And all the alarm clocks, which of course were all plugged in, excuse me, they all went out, and so of course they all woke up late. They only had maybe 3 seconds to get to the airport to make that flight. I'm exaggerating the 30 seconds, but it felt like that in movie time. And they all rush out, they all get dressed, they all rush out of the house, they all rush to the airport, they all get on the plane, they all made that flight. And the mother kept saying, "Gee, I forgot something. What did I forget?" And of course, halfway through the flight, more than halfway through the flight, the mother wakes up from the seat and goes, "Kevin!" That iconic moment. And of course, she left the kid at home. And of course, the rest of the movie, the parents anyway, they all try to rush home and get connecting flights to get home. And of course, the misadventures they have of trying to get home. So, oh my God, Kevin's over in the house by himself. And then meanwhile, for the week, Macaulay Culkin pretty much takes care of himself. He goes to and amazingly to me, none of the neighbors were smart enough. That's how stupid everybody is in this movie. Nobody is smart enough. Call the cops and say, "Hey, the parents left this kid home alone." If they did that, I would have loved to see him do anybody trying any brains in this movie. Call the cops, call the authorities, and have the parents arrested for leaving the kid alone. That would be a far better movie than this piece of crap. And see the parents go on trial and everything else. But unfortunately, that shit never happens, which makes me hate the movie even more. And of course, what happens is that there's 2 burglars, remember Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. They both find out, hey, that nobody's in this house, and of course Macaulay Culkin's character Kevin, he booby traps the house, and to me that's the highlight of the movie, is how he booby traps the house. That Daniel Stern gets hit in the face with a paint can when they fall on marbles, or Kevin pours water on the front stoop and they all slip on the ice. That type of stuff, that's only good enough to about 5 minutes out of this movie. I mean, the highlight of the movie is only maybe 5 minutes when he boom trusts the house. The rest of the which is the highlight, but the rest of the movie is so stupid. And amazingly to me, that this movie even cracked the top 10 of the 10 highest grossing movies of all time, or at least in the U.S. markets anyway. This movie makes way up there, at the time in 1990 with the Indiana Jones movies, Star Wars, E.T. I mean, come on. I mean, if even because, and also Michael Jackson was obsessed with this movie, and Macaulay Culkin later on, after this movie came out, became one of Michael Jackson's lovers, or at least one of Michael Jackson's molestation victims, because no question in my mind that he molested this kid, because Macaulay Culkin slept with Michael Jackson in his bed in Neverland, and there's no question in my mind that Michael Jackson molested Macaulay Culkin. Even though Macaulay Culkin denies it, has been denying it for years. But I feel that he did molest him, and he doesn't want to admit it. Because he doesn't want to get flack that he's making up the story. But Michael Jackson was obsessed with this kid. And he was dealing with him for a while until he turned like 12 or 15 years old. And bye-bye, Macaulay. But in terms of this movie was awful. And this movie was so popular that they even made a god-awful... Like the first movie wasn't bad enough. They made a second film where Kevin was running around in New York City, and he finagled his way, and thankfully I never saw this movie. But I have seen scenes on YouTube and on television with Macaulay Culkin at the Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center, in the Plaza Hotel. So they took in Central Park, in Manhattan. So they took actual locations in Manhattan. They filmed there for this movie. But the movie itself, I mean, all the movies, I think they made like about 4 total, and a third one, and of course I think they made like a 4th one from the TV movie. But all these movies are awful, god awful bad. And I can't believe they spent over 8 minutes now talking about the Home Alone, because it is horrible. It's horrible. I mean, I don't want to spend any more time with this thing as I have already, because that's how bad this movie is. And thankfully, Macaulay Culkin's career is dead in the water. Because of the fact because he made crappy, and now all these years later we realize how stupid this movie was. And you remember at the time when a lot of movie critics, from Cisco and Ebert on down, gave this movie a lousy review and mentioned the only highlight was his highlights when he movie trapped the house. Other than that, it was a stupid ass movie. But fortunately, like I said earlier, it made a boatload of money. It was like the highest, at that time, it was like the highest grossing comedy of all time. And so they made a bunch of sequels, and he Macaulay Culkin was in a bunch of movies in the early to mid 90s. But then after the mid 90s were over, he became a teenager, and then in his 20s, and I think he's in his 30s now. He doesn't even have a career anymore. But most people remember him from Home Alone, and Home Alone is a piece of shit movie. And I think everybody to avoid this thing. If you want to see it, fine. I don't have the authority to stop anybody from seeing that piece of shit. But it is a crappy movie. That's my review of Home Alone. Please click on the video, please rate it. So please subscribe to my channel, and please follow this video onto your Facebook pages. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.